Welcome to the Gritty Podcast. I am your host, Brian Call, and I'm joined by my brother, the Gritty Broman.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, Brent?
I'm well, thank you.
How are you doing after yesterday's hike?
So yesterday I went home and I've had this big block of ice been sitting in my freezer forever, and I thought, now's a good time for an ice bath. It was, in fact, not a good time for an ice bath. I forgot how much that hurts.
Oh, yeah, you're Mr. Wim Hof.
Oh, I got about maybe 4 inches past my ankle, and then I stood there frozen going, and I forgot how much it burns.
Yeah.
At first, it took about 2 weeks to get acclimated where I could actually walk into the water. Yeah, after I actually got in there, which took about 20 minutes, I stayed in there for about a half hour. It wasn't too bad.
That cold water dip sucks.
Yeah, it does, but my legs were going to hurt the next day. I knew they would. And I got some weird stiffness. I have a shoddy ankle. I blew out my ankle years ago.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of scar tissue I'm still trying to work out. It was a good hike, though.
Yeah. There's something about that Wim Hof thing that does make you relax and aid in recovery, and I don't know, does something. It
my wife
sucks
would not cuddle with me
during
afterwards.
the moment, but afterward, you feel great.
Mm-hmm.
So today's podcast is with our friend Dallas Hemeyer, and Dallas is a world traveler. He's mostly the film guy on these world traveling hunts.
He's been on 12 sheep hunts.
Yeah, he's been to the stands. We talk about that on today's podcast, the stands, like your Pakistans, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. Yeah, a lot of places I'm a little leery about going.
For good reason.
For good reason.
For
And
very good reason.
We hear about Dallas's, life-threatening experiences.
His near-death experiences from just last year. There's like a dozen.
And so it's pretty cool. I just like hearing about other cultures, other parts of the world, and hearing. I don't necessarily want to do it. Some of that. Some
of it I do, but there's like we talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I could go hunt ibex in Spain.
Yeah.
Go on a sexy romantic trip with my wife and go shoot ibex on the weekend. Mm-hmm. Or I could go to the stands and risk getting decapitated. The options there are it's pretty obvious. You go to Spain. Go to Spain.
Yeah. So we talk about that. We get into camera gear because he's a very skilled cameraman. Mm-hmm. Dallas runs or has helped contribute to a lot of the films on The Experience, Hunt the Experience on YouTube. And he just does great work. And so we get into camera gear, how he films. But we talk about how they bucket brigade
what did they shoot? It was a
ibex. I'm pretty sure it was.
No, it was Markhor. It was a Markhor, right?
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. No, they shot a Markhor up on the side of a mountain, and then the natives bucket brigaded.
I think this is Mongolia.
Yeah.
And they basically hand it from one guy to the next guy to the next guy. Well, first
guy had to go make some shoes because he didn't have shoes.
Off a cliff.
And so he wouldn't cut up a tire off his bike and made sandals for his motorcycle, yeah.
I don't know, but
and then he went out and they bucket brigaded the thing down.
Anyway, they're manly men. It's a different world over there, and I think how cool would it be if every college age student or youth from America was to go to a place like that and live for a while? Mm-hmm. It would change their perspective.
It wouldn't take long. A weekend for a lot of kids would shine a lot of light.
They would reconsider their ideas about America, especially how it's broken and needs to be fixed. Mm-hmm. Perhaps you should spend some time in another part of the world.
Go to some place that doesn't have a lot of asphalt and just walk around. It sucks.
So anyway, there you have it. That podcast is going to be fun. Listen to it today.
I can't figure out if Dallas has big, hairy coconut balls or is kind of dumb. I'm going to let you folks at home decide.
So we talk about it.
Reckless abandon.
And then yesterday's podcast was fun. If you didn't tune into that, you should. We did that one with Ryan Bassham. And we got into it's also world traveling and hunting around the world, different animals. And Bassham spent a lot of time in Africa, actually. So we're going to continue that theme today on today's episode of hunting around the world, various species. But it sparked a lot of conversation. Brent and I went on a hike up the mountain yesterday, and Brent was struggling. And a lot of people were worried about Brent's feelings because, you know, he's a little overweight, so his older brother doesn't really give him any slack. And I'm like, look, in our family, we just tell it like it is.
Well, it's not like I don't own a mirror or walk by reflective surfaces. It's not like I'm unaware of the fact that I'm fat. I'm fully aware, and I knew, and not only that, but like,
you start where you are.
Yeah. Not only that, but like getting into things is difficult. Getting into hunting, getting into fitness. I don't know where to go hiking.
Yeah.
Like I live at the base of a mountain, and I probably could figure it out, but it's little stupid crap like that that keeps a lot of people from going and doing things. Like, I know a lot of people want to go and join a gym, but the act of going and joining a gym is intimidating.
Yeah.
You walk in there and everyone's ripped and shredded and a little too friendly. When people are too friendly, it's off-putting.
Yeah. So we climbed the mountain, but we talked about world hunting. And in the beginning of the podcast, we touched a little bit on Australia and their red deer and what's going on with all of that and how it's the way it's being classified as a game animal or a feral animal. And we get into some of that political stuff a little bit at the beginning, but it sparked some conversation with some Aussie folks, and it was great. They shared
some disturbing facts about Australia.
I was invited to go hunt by a friend of mine in Australia to go hunt donkeys or camels.
Camels.
Yes. So donkeys or camels. Also, we talked about how the feral cats were like
an epidemic,
a real problem over there, which blows my mind because we have cats here that have been domestic forever, right? And they escape into the wild. I mean, that they could do that. They don't last. They don't survive. They can't get a foothold. And I think that's because we have coyotes.
Yeah. But don't they have dingoes? Which is basically like a coyote.
I don't know. I don't know the dingo thing. But a guy did text me from Australia yesterday and said that they have wild dogs, feral dogs, dog packs that run around and maraud. And he's like, yeah, they're dangerous. Like, they will attack you.
I went to New Mexico with my buddy Andrew, go visit some friends of his down there, and we drove through a reservation, and they called them reservation dogs. And there was a pack of dogs that would just kind of sneak up on you and check out what you're doing, and some of them were mean and aggressive. And you only need one in the pack to have a pair on him. And then all of a sudden, the rest of them are like, yeah, we can take these guys. Yeah, we can take them.
And I think dogs, anything that's been domesticated and then has gone feral, in general, is far more dangerous to humans than anything that's never been domesticated.
True. Like a wolf that's bred with a domesticated dog is far more likely to attack people.
Half-breed or something like that tends to be far more dangerous. But just a domesticated dog that's gone feral, for some reason, and I don't know why, tends to be more dangerous, like a scrub bull, which, by the way, I got that wrong yesterday. So for those that listened yesterday, I'm telling you, Bow Hunt Down Under YouTube page, you got to go subscribe to that. They're good dudes. I met them at the Western Hunt Expo.
Jerry Redmond.
I can't understand anything Jerry says. Like, not anything. I get about 70 to 60% of what Jerry says. Other than that, the films are great. So, sorry, Jerry, but I watched him just yesterday. I mentioned a scrub bull video that they just produced, and it was actually a bantang. Here's
Which
my
is a
ignorance.
Sweet word too. I'm a fan of that.
So it's a bantang, and they have a video called Coburg, Cobourg, I believe. And that's a part of Australia, the Coburg Peninsula. And that's where these bantang live. And they have a bantang film 1, and then they have a bantang 2.0, like part 2. But you should go to Bow Hunt Down Under. It's a very good production. They make a really good production and follow that adventure. And they have watch the first one first. I actually watched the second one first, but I've gone back since and seen the first one. You learn some stuff about the animal. And again, I think and they're some sort of domesticated animal from Bali
From India?
Yeah, and then it has gone feral. It's a wild jungle bull.
What doesn't go feral in Australia?
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you can hunt donkeys, which I am down with hunting donkeys. I want to hunt zebras. Of all the African animals,
really?
Zebra.
Why the zebra?
I don't know. There's something.
You know what's funny? Our youngest sister, Adeline, has an infatuation with zebras. When you go into her room, it's zebra print everywhere.
I think it's the pattern. I think it's genetic.
Really?
I am drawn to it. And I ate a lot of horse. I know people, Americans. I've eaten a lot of horse in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I ate a lot of raw horse when I was in Japan.
Mm.
And horse is good. Really good. Good meat. So the only reason we don't eat horse in the United States...
It's because we have uglier animals to eat.
It's because there is a sentimental attachment to horses.
Well, here's the deal,
But
Brian.
it doesn't make any sense not to eat a horse. Look at all that steak.
Oh, hold on.
Look at the muscles on that.
Go look at a pig. If I put that pig down and eat it, I'm practically doing it a favor. If you go look at a horse and you shoot a horse and try to eat that, good luck, man. That's a beautiful animal. Cows, some people think cows are cute, but you can get past that. They're not that cute. You know what I mean?
I kind of hear you.
But I want to step back. You said you had a hookup to go hunt camels.
Yeah, and donkeys.
Okay, we're not here for
donkeys. Are kind of like, I was looking at the pictures of these desert-looking donkeys. Because there's magazines. You looked up. You saw magazines dedicated to hunting donkeys in Australia.
Yeah, that was weird.
They have chick-smashing grunters.
They had some weird stuff that they hunt down there. Not weird, I should say. Foreign idea to me. But if we can go hunt camel, Brian, I can fulfill a childhood dream.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I was watching the Food Network as a young fat child would. And there was this guy who goes around, ugly white dude, Englishy, got some messed up teeth. And he would go around and he would eat weird crap, mostly bugs. But he went to Egypt.
Yeah.
And he went to this place and he bought this clay jar.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably about the size of my head. And it cost him like a couple $100.
Okay.
And he's like, I can't remember. If someone could help me out. I'm trying to find the name of this dish. I tried to Google it and find it.
Yeah.
But it's basically they take camel strips of camel, and then they season it to whatever, and then they fill the vessel up with camel butter, and then they shove the meat in there.
Camel butter?
Yeah, you milk the camel.
Oh.
Yeah, you milk. Okay. That's the sound of milking.
And then they churn it, make butter. Okay.
They put it in the vessel.
And then they put all the meat in the butter?
Yep, and they shove it down there, and then they seal it up, and then you leave it in your closet for 2 to 4 years. Yeah, and then you bring it out, and then you scrape the top off, and then you pull the meat out, and you slice it up, and then you like fry it up with like eggs or something. And I remember being a kid and seeing that, and I thought, I want to eat that. I want that. I want to partake of that. It's been a goal of mine my whole life. But the problem is, Brian,
dude,
if you can't go to Egypt and do that, because here's what I've learned.
Who wants to eat that?
Okay, well, none of the people there with him wanted to eat it, but he did. And here's the thing: you can't just go to Egypt, because if you've learned anything from Hollywood, if too many Americans go there, all of a sudden everything decides to come back to life. So, like, there's a tipping point, and I'm not going to roll that dice because I have really bad luck.
Gotcha.
But
gotcha.
I could go to Egypt, not Egypt. I could go to Australia
and hunt camel.
Hunt a camel, and
Suzanne freaked out last night. She's like, "What would you do?" And I don't know. Eat it. Eat it. And then she said, "But what about the hump on its back? What is it?" And I was thinking, what an odd thought to have.
It's got legs and hams. I mean, it's got meat.
Yeah, it's interesting. But my buddy in Australia did mention that they kill a donkey every year to fill the freezer.
You have weird friends now.
It's a different world. But I also learned that there's 21 to 22 million people in Australia.
Okay.
And that there's an estimated 18 million feral cats.
So, wow.
You got as many cats as people in the country. feral. There's also a certain number. There's domesticated ones that are just people's house pets, right? I had that here.
Do people there look down at you for owning a cat?
There's 2.7 million domestic cats.
What are they eating?
But there's 18 million feral ones.
They must have decimated some bird populations down there.
I don't know, man. But some of these cats are huge. I see one eating a cockatoo.
I was going to say birds and rabbits. I imagine the rabbit hunting down there has gone downhill.
I don't even know if they had rabbits or...
Yeah, they've got rabbits in Australia.
They had to be introduced.
Everything's introduced.
Anyway.
Name something native besides a kangaroo.
But get this. Guess how many pigs are in Australia?
Too many.
24 million feral pigs.
Hold on. How many people were there?
21 million, 22. There's more pigs than people.
So
more cats than people. Or as many cats. Yeah.
Someone emailed us the other day about...
That's a lot of hunting you can do every day.
Yeah. What did they email about? Ranching.
Mm-hmm.
About ranching.
Mm-hmm.
With that many feral pigs, and I assume there's other animals down there.
Yeah.
This guy emailed us and basically said that hunting cannot sustain a population.
You're proposing that maybe
that theory got kicked in the junk here. Because if there's that many pigs, then you have other animals that you can hunt. So if every one of those people went out there and just shot one pig each, there'd still be a crud ton of pigs left, a couple million, and they'll do their thing in a couple years. I mean, if I had one pig to myself, I could eat that pig for the most of the year.
Mathematically, I think you're wrong, but here's the thing.
No, it's pretty solid because then they still have 4 million pigs left.
Here's the thing. I would say this, that one of my buddies, Dylan, mentioned was that they're not really so edible because...
The pigs?
Yeah, because there's a drought going on, at least in his area, quite a drought, and so the pigs are not able to be as much of a herbivore.
Well, they're not being managed,
they're not eating
Brian.
Grass and things like that, so I think they tend to... he said they eat a lot of carrion. So if they're eating a lot of dying and rotting animals, so namely other pigs who have died because they've the drought, and then they eat that one. I saw 7 pigs sleeping on video, sleeping around a dead, rotten cow, and they were eating the cow or a bantang or whatever it was. And that's how so when they eat rotten flesh, because pigs can eat anything.
That's the amazing
thing.
They're
the most adaptable animal on the planet.
They can eat anything, Brian, and then they make bacon. They're basically a magical creature.
Yeah, but I think this bacon tastes like rotten flesh. But I don't know.
I think you could get around it.
I think you could meat eater the hell out of it.
I was going to say, man, if I put that in a wet brine for 6 months, I could make something happen.
Or camel butter.
Yeah, or just soak it in camel butter for 3 or 4 years. Easy peasy.
Yeah. So anyway, we got a real nice comment yesterday on yesterday's podcast from Richard Coleho. He said, Brian, I find myself watching your channel more than I did at one time. In fact, I look forward to each episode now. You have been brave in your positions and don't let the SJW crowd quiet your positions. You are one of the few people out there who has the courage to point north when someone asks which way is north without fear of being wrong. That's not to say I'm not wrong sometimes. Sometimes I am. But I do try to just be real. And sometimes that gets me in trouble because just being absolutely open and frank with your opinions can get you into some hot water. So I really appreciate that.
But that's also how you learn.
We still have a couple days left. What's today's date? The 27th? We have a few days left that you can use the Stockisons coupon code, which is Gritty.
Use code word Gritty.
Yeah, until the end of March.
15% off.
15% off a pair of these slick babies, which, looking at these Australian hunts, if I go over there, I think I want to wear these, man.
I'm buying some. I got to go home and buy some, and I need to get a pair for Daisy.
But someone just got a pair yesterday. I'll read. Mark
left us a comment.
Mav, M-A-V in Washington. He says, this is on YouTube. Received and tested my new Stockisons. Work great, anticipating stocks in fall of 2019. However, can rubber cement and rubber tire dust be used on the soles to prolong life of leather sole? I don't know. I don't really know. You probably could just slap some rubber on the bottom if you needed to, but I honestly think this double leather sole
Yeah, I was
is
gonna say, I don't think it's
nearly
needed.
indestructible. You look at him stomping on cactuses with this thing on and not having a single spike get through it.
He's standing on them.
Yeah, it seems as though this sole is going to last you just fine. And I think he said he's been using his 2 or 3 years or something. He wears them all the time.
He brought in the original pair for us.
I think their only weakness is water. They'll just shrink, and then that's a problem. So I don't think they're treated at all. I wonder if you could throw some leather treatment on their waterproofing agent, like what I use on my crispy boots or something that, and I wonder if that would help it withstand moisture and then work well. But for the most part, though, I anticipate using these in pretty dry climates, not wearing them in the rain. If it's rainy, the ground's going to be soaked, and I can wear my boots.
I'm just going to wear them to church and flex on everybody. That's my goal.
So we do have the Hoyt bow giveaway. Hoyt Helix. We're giving a bow away.
We're going to announce it on our very first ever
newsletter, which is going out on April 1st, which is less than a week away, Brent?
It's 4 days away.
4 days. Brent, you and I need to do a newsletter.
Yeah, we should probably finish that. It's really done. Like, all we got to do is make the template.
Yeah.
It's all set up to be sent out and everything.
So we're going to pick the winner. We're going to announce that on
April 1st. And we're also going to be using the newsletter to announce we're going to be doing lots of giveaways the rest of this year.
Yeah. So use our newsletter, sign up for our newsletter, go to briancall.com and sign up for our newsletter. And then we do have other codes and discounts going on with other friends of ours, like Phelps Game Calls. Get a discount if you're going turkey hunting and you need turkey calls. Use Gritty 15.
That's good till April 15th.
And what else we got?
You can get $20 off of Elk University. Go to elk101.com.
Yep. And all those codes and stuff are in the description of each YouTube video. Go to briancall.com, podcasts. You'll see all our YouTube videos. Click on that, and you'll see the description and links.
We got a code for Baird's Beard Oil. Use code word Baird's15.
Yeah, if you guys want some legit beard oil, check out Baird's. We did a podcast with them. That was a fun show. They're just good dudes. All these people are just good people trying to spark up a business, and they put out a great product. And yeah, if you can support them, do it.
Yeah, they do.
They're great. We also have our friend over at Head Hangers. He's hooked up Mountain Ops offices, my office, with these cool hooks and head hangers for basically we use them. It's a lot like a skull hooker for hanging mounts, and you can see one in action right here. If you're watching the YouTube channel, there's my moose on the wall in the studio, held up by a head hanger, and then you can see the hooks on the wall over here.
Hang up coats, hats.
Yep, but go there. They have some pedestal mounts that are really cool.
You can get a discount.
Use the code GRITTY, and you can get some head hangers. So if you got some skulls you want to hang, antlers you want to hang, and so on, they're good. They're robust. They're well made, and you can get some that are custom made. You can get a logo, your name, whatever, engraved in there. But check that out. Again, the link will be in the YouTube description. We also have a deal going on with Canvas Cutter, where you get 15% off at Canvas Cutter, and it's the code GRITTY15. So if you're looking for one of those Canvas Cutter bed rolls, check it out. The guys in Australia told me they've been using those things for years, and they call it a swag.
A swag? They
call it a swag. Why is everything in Australia cooler sounding? Canvas Cutter bed roll, swag. Come on.
I actually think Canvas Cutter sounds pretty sweet.
I guess it does. In a way.
Grab the cutter. The Canvas Cutter.
Yeah.
I don't know. Australians,
trying to nickname it, are you? I got my cutter right here. Cutter. Cutter. It's way cooler than swag.
Well, like swag. I don't know. Australians, they just say weird things, though.
I'm not going to argue with that. I got one more thing I want to bring up, and then we'll get right into the podcast. Athletes_hunt on Instagram. Lorne and Mark Truesdell. He sent me a message yesterday about something that he had a concern about. And he said, just wanted to let you know that Patagonia is hosting an event in Vancouver for the Wildlife Defense League, an organization whose sole purpose is to shut down hunting. I know Patagonia is involved with BHA, and I emailed them expressing my concerns, but it would be cool if you could help. So I reached out to BHA, my friend Ty Stubblefield, and talked to Ty about it directly. This organization is what sort of they're one of those groups that fights against grizzly hunting in Wyoming, Montana. They proactively boycott it and work to litigate against it. And so they call themselves the Wildlife Defense League. So you have Patagonia working with an organization whose sole purpose is to shut down hunting. But then you have Patagonia attending the BHA Pro Public Land event and talking about hunting at the event. This is confusing for people, and rightly so. But Ty commented back and he said, I guess the first question was, Patagonia is involved with BHA. Currently, we receive no funding or support from Patagonia. Secondly, we foster and build a relationship with them to help them better understand our way of life. By increasing their knowledge and understanding, we increase the odds of us agreeing on more things. Putting up a wall or shutting them out will guarantee we will never agree on anything. Yes, there are things we won't agree on, but BHA will continue to focus on the things we do agree on. They have a far bigger reach than all the hunting community. And it's true that Patagonia is massive. It's huge. And I know that the Meat Eater brand has been criticized for, engaging with Patagonia and other groups. But the reality is they are a global brand. Mm-hmm. They have a massive reach. And within that organization, you're going to have both hunters and non-hunters. And this is tough because from the hunting community's perspective, we want to bail out of that conversation altogether. We want to just shut them out and say, hey, Patagonia is anti-hunting. If we do that, then we're not able to sort of bridge the gap between us. We can't get them on our side if we just don't involve them at all. So, in many ways, what BHA is doing and Meat Eater is they're saying, hey, there's people in Patagonia that get our way of life, that also hunt, that have been hunters for a long time, that are working with us. And then there's people that are against us in the same company. And what we're trying to do when we engage with them and involve them in things like the Backcountry Hunters and Anglers Rendezvous is we're trying to get our foot in the door and change perceptions. And you can't change perceptions if you don't put yourself out into the mainstream and you don't talk to people that are completely foreign to our way of life. Cameron Hanes was criticized the last couple of weeks for going on the podcast with, Logan Paul. It's supposed to be one of the world's top podcasts or most popular podcasts, but I don't follow the dude. He's not in my world, but very mainstream. I've seen them talk a little anti-hunting, save the animals, even anti-Second Amendment. Like why should anybody have a AR-15 kind of discussion? They have a very liberal viewpoint. I'd say left-wing viewpoint, right? And then Cam came on the podcast and talked to those guys about hunting and bow hunting. And he was able to bring our world into theirs and give them a different perspective because they're looking at a lot of us and thinking, what a bunch of weirdos, Mm-hmm. These guys just kill animals. And they grew up in concrete and pavement, You can criticize Cam for going on the show saying, they're not with us. But at the same time, how do you bridge those gaps? I mean, Joe Rogan didn't grow up hunting, but now that he's good friends with Cameron Hanes and Cam has brought the world of hunting into him, Rogan has been an extremely powerful influence in terms of changing the perception of hunting in areas like LA and New York. And we need that stuff. I'm all for open dialogue, open discussion, bridging gaps, and not closing doors and agreeing to disagree rather than just saying disagreement is grounds for disengagement. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a good policy at all.
No, and just because your viewpoints on one topic don't align doesn't mean they don't align elsewhere.
Right.
Patagonia may not like hunting, but they sure as heck like public lands.
Right. Exactly.
And they're great advocates for that.
And hopefully someday they see the value in hunting and they as a corporation, take a stance or change their viewpoint or at least educate their audience gently, persuade them into a different idea about what hunting is. So it's all good stuff. Anyway, I wanted to thank Truesdell for sending the message and Ty for getting back to us. And we're going to jump into the podcast now with Dallas Hemeyer. Follow him on Instagram at Dallas Hemeyer. Dallas, and then Hemeyer is all one word. And then Hemeyer is spelled Hemeyer. He's got an awesome Instagram page. Does great Instagram stories.
That's pretty much what we did on this podcast.
Beautiful photography.
Just roll through his Instagram.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So check out the podcast. Hope you enjoy it. We appreciate all the kind comments you're leaving for us on iTunes and YouTube and all the message you leave us on Instagram. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you. And as always, stay gritty. So Dallas, I'm cruising through your Instagram, which is
Alarming.
quite awesome, right?
This was my. This is kind of cool. So I went back through and did my journey in filming hunts. So if you go down just a little bit more.
Yep, we're scrolling through this.
Yeah, so
page.
These were just like my favorite landscape photos from around the world.
Yeah, I get kind of sort of bored with those myself.
Yeah, you'll like these ones. Keep going. So right here, kind of where it all started. So just out of high school, I bought a little Canon video camera.
Yeah.
And started filming moose hunts on the Wasatch. Mm-hmm. And then, I just started posting those on social media. And then I got a call from Huntin' Fool to film a TV episode. Mm-hmm. And they offered to pay me. And that's when the switch flipped. And then
I can make money doing
that
this?
hunt led into meeting Dan in Mexico, and then from Dan introduced me to Jason Price, and then Jason introduced me to Duncan and I already knew the Mountain Ops crew, but in New Zealand, and that's where that whole relationship blossomed. And then
you've been on a roll,
traveled all around the world. Then here's where things start getting. We can stop on this one. Click on this one. So Brian's actually not even fully aware of this yet. If your schedule is open in October, we have a spot for you to come spot and stock mule deer hunt with us in October, if you're available.
I mean, I think I could maybe pencil that in.
You think you could maybe swing that?
Yeah.
And so maybe we can do some firsthand Valkyrie testing in Colorado, if you're down for it.
I think that would be a noble idea, just to see.
Didn't you have a New Year's resolution to hunt a little less this year and focus on your work?
You do not want to hang around me.
Oh, dude, I want to get into. There's so many cool things on your page and adventures you've been on. Some of them I'll never experience because I refuse to go international in some of the places you've been. At least I don't see it anytime soon.
That's okay.
You can keep it, but I do kind of want to live like vicariously. So here we are. I feel like I have a better survival instinct than you. It's just ingrained in me more, where you're missing some critical instincts. And it's a wonder you're not dead yet.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of arguing. There's no arguing going on. He's like,
yeah, that's probably true. Brian's probably like, you're really naive, and it's really paying off for you, but I don't know how long this can last.
All it takes is one Chinese rebel, and boom, it's over.
That's true. My team's looking pretty strong there, though.
True. Man, look at that. So, anyway, I was watching your Instagram page. I saw this. Well, I want to hear what it's like, because here you are. Look at these ibex on the face of this cliff, dude. That is unreal. Like they just walk cliff sides like it's nothing.
That's probably 100 out of the 300 to 400. They just keep coming.
There's one I saw just sort of jump a 15-foot gap, like through the air and land on a cliff ledge.
They're doing it so nonchalant that it does not really do it justice how steep it is. Like that, I mean, literally they just walk on it like it's nothing. They don't, every step is just another step like it's flat ground when literally, dude, that is vertical.
They just run up and down it.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. Do you see it? Do they fall?
I mean, just looking at the path they're traveling, do you see any line where you could go across that?
No, especially the ones that when they like come straight down a cliff face. Like,
and some of those females just come, like look at that one at the top, just bounding away, or that little one just
bouncing.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's a pretty cool bit of footage that I got. I filmed them for probably 15 minutes coming across that face, and man, it was awesome.
So, the other part that blew my mind. So, how far is this guy from falling off a cliff?
All right, so I'll be honest with you. I'll shoot you straight how it is. So this is, you gotta take a look at that. Hopefully one of these little rocks doesn't fall out of its place. Who even thought to build that trail? So this is actually the Silk Route Trail, where they brought goods and spices and all things over from China.
Rock ledges are made out of
shale is what it looks like.
Shale.
Is there concrete in that mix?
No.
Okay, so they have stacked rocks.
So
dirt.
no, hold on.
There's
That trail
dirt.
is like Jenga with shale, and that's what you're expecting to go walking on.
How sturdy is shale from your experience?
Not very. That you're basically, you've got a smooth rock cliff ledge, and then there's a slight where you can stack shale rock to build out a ledge. I don't see how it's supported.
How did they get the base rocks to stay on that slick
That's what
rock?
I'm asking you.
Look at this face.
I know. It's a straight up wall. This is why I say my survival instincts are better than yours.
I went last.
I don't think I'm down with this. I mean, give me a rope, maybe. Tie me in.
Let's go to the next frame. No, that was a trail.
How far down
are
you guys at these given moments?
So you can see people down there at the bottom. That's probably like 70 feet.
Okay. You're going to die.
But we're about it. We're about at the bottom.
I'm still not over this. I'm still not over that. So
that right there, this first picture, that was probably more like a couple hundred feet.
How far is this guy?
So
and what is the story behind this? This looks like a guy.
So this is actually, we had just shot the Markhor. So we're going to get to it. And I asked a few times, is this the best way to get there? And
who is this?
So that was my client, Brian Harlan from Texas.
Okay.
And this guy on the top in the camo, that's Shaw. So he was our main guide, and he spoke English, and so he was the one. And then this guy in the red, he was just one of the villagers. You know what I mean? That was out scouting and helping on the hunt.
Yep.
And so below Brian, it's probably only 30 feet, but it's 30 feet to rock.
Right, boulders and rock.
And then you need to stay where you land, not bounce. So, I was filming this, and I was like, all right, what are we doing about my cameras and whatnot? Mm-hmm. And so I extended them out as far as I could, and I think I left a GoPro on my tripod, and I'm like, please don't fall off the tripod camera. And they came over and grabbed my camera, but me or Brian, we couldn't have got across that without their help. I mean, it's just slick rock. You're just digging your toes in, and...
How are they climbing it?
I don't know. The whole time I asked myself, I'm like, how did you guys... First off, I wouldn't have even thought. I would have got there and been like, oh, dead end. We better find another route.
We need a rope, a helicopter. At any time, a guy could fall and die.
Yeah. Oh, so the Markhor is across that valley, just kind of on that flat spot. That's where we found him. It's right there. Yeah. So we actually said that they told us that we got closer than anyone they'd ever gotten to a Markhor. I think we shot at it, like 190 yards. But usually it's pretty long range, steep shots.
And this is a Markhor.
Yep. So there's 3 species of Markhor in Pakistan. All of them, very few permit numbers. I don't know about the other one, but I know with the Astor, there's 3 permits.
That is a wild looking critter, dude.
And how I describe it is an ibex with some fashion of kudu horns.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of the curve. So, I mean,
It is.
It's an impressive specimen. When that thing is up in the cliffs, like, it's an impressive animal.
So what do they eat? That just looks like straight up rock everywhere.
That's what I was wondering too.
Like, what do they eat? I mean, it looks like there's not a food source anywhere. I mean, I guess there's some clumps of grass.
Man, not much.
Wow.
So this is the ledge. In Asia, they carry all the animals out whole. So we're at the bottom of the mountain now.
Mm-hmm.
What?
They carried it. Go to the next photo. You can see we're right next to the river. This is where we shot it. Look where the river is. Not only did we scale and rock climb just to get to it, which was extremely difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Then the guys were like, all right, we done with photos? Like, please, can we be done with photos? They carried that thing down whole, just like the ibex in the other photos, all the way down. I mean, it was wild. I've got some other pictures I need to show you.
Can they not afford a rope? Like, can't you have a 200-foot rope and then just lower it down?
These guys had a rope. I'll show you. I wish we could.
Is that it before you shot it?
Yeah, so that's a live photo.
Dang.
Hey, this is the first hunt. I've been telling you this forever. I finally caved and bought the doubler. Purchase of the year.
Yeah. For the
I was
400
like,
meter.
I was like, man,
1 to 400.
why did I get talked out of this for so long? I should have just got it. All right, so like here's
Awesome.
on the way down.
Well, let me see that. Oh, so they are lowering it with a rope.
They had a rope for that one. On the ibex, they didn't have a rope.
That's wild.
Dang, dude. Why do they? Is it just a cultural thing? You can't chop up an animal?
No, I think it was. I don't know if they just prefer to do it, but everywhere I've, there and in Tajikistan and Mongolia, they just pack it all down. I think this one could have been partially for the different ceremonies we were having in the villages. You know what I mean? Because it's a big deal.
Looking at this photo of you looking up, can we get any steeper?
Oh.
Ooh. Is that the one you shot?
No, that's a different one. So there were 2 that we were looking at, 2 different villages.
I guess there's some feed
and
right
I
there.
actually, yeah. So there was definitely a lot more feed over in this area than the others, but just like, some vegetation. And so, here's in the village that found the Markhor. So this is the village that 50% of the price of the permit is.
Talk me through the process, because you were saying they're an endangered species, or what are they?
They were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they're considered endangered anymore, but there was a time when the Astor population was very low. And since then, it's been brought back through hunting. I mean, a lot of the villagers, they're in a super remote place. So to them, it was just another goat. You know what I mean? If, they saw one down low and they had means to get it, it was just food. It was just food for the family.
Mm-hmm.
Until they realized that until a high value was put on the animal that benefits them as a community. And they started allocating just a few permits, not a ton, but I'm sure it started off, as 1 or 2 permits, and now it's up to 3 permits. And the population, from what I understand, has went from about 300 to about 4,000 now. Because the villagers, they're protecting them now.
So an animal was brought back from the brink of extinction through hunting.
Yes.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah. So basically, rather than it being just a food source in a third world country, now it has become an extremely valuable economic resource in a third world country. As frustrating as that is for anti-hunters to hear, it's a truth. It's a universal truth. In a third world country, if you look at the United States 150 years ago, 200 years ago, We weren't worried about conservation. People vilify those that were out there killing the buffalo. Look, most of those people, they were just trying to survive to the next week, to the next year.
Exactly.
Whether the species disappears or not is so low on their radar that conservation in many ways is a luxury for first world countries. It's something that we can focus on because, look, we're not trying to just stay alive from week to week.
We're trying to thrive.
So it's like, oh, now we can sit there and judge everyone who 200 years ago was killing off all the white-tailed deer. It's like, well, they're trying not to get murdered by...
Yeah, it would be interesting to tell that story to them and see how much of that they realized they were playing a part in. You know what I mean? Or if you could be like, what's the story behind these Markhor? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How much of it they would even know? You know what I mean? If they were like,
are they even
no,
aware?
they've always been here. Isn't that, you know
There's
what
plenty,
I mean?
right?
Or some of the people we'd be driving, they'd be like, oh yeah, there's some ibex up there. You know, they didn't even know the difference.
Yeah.
Between an ibex and a Markhor. You know, it's a
Right.
Markhor or you see an ibex. That's a
But
Markhor.
now there's that economic value attached to it. And you're saying that it's $200,000 for a permit for the Markhor
Mhm.
to hunt them.
There's 3 permits.
So basically, I'll never do it. Not for reasons of survival, but economic reasons as well.
Yeah, I mean, they are goats, and goats seem to be pretty successful. You know, maybe 20 years from now there'll be
Oh.
a few 100,000.
And then it's cheaper.
How about
So-
we go drop some in Texas and let Texas do its thing?
They already have them.
They already have.
There you go. God bless Texas.
Yeah.
So
Fulfilling my safari dreams stateside.
Yeah.
So $200,000 for a permit, and then the money. How does it get distributed?
I should figure out the exact breakdown, but I
Mhm.
want to say 50% of it goes to the community that finds the animals, and the other 50% goes to different, government fees. I'm sure the game department, and then I'm sure there's a percentage of that goes to the outfitter. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Who's has to do, the advertising and the organizing and the logistics and getting.
So that
people-
first part, is it like there's like a bunch of villagers out there up in the mountains trying to find these things 24/7?
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's just like
in obviously not all of these guys, but when we rolled up, there were probably 25 people who were out, hiking
Searching.
and on their motorcycles and with
Climbing
any
cliffs.
kind of binocular, whatever they could find.
Coke
You know what I
bottle
mean?
glasses.
Because it's a huge. I mean, that's $100,000 would be game changer for us.
Yeah.
But
What did
can
they
you
say
think-
they were?
Can
gonna,
you think
'cause
of
they-
$100,000 in a community that's, 4 hours from the nearest thing I would consider a town?
civilization? Now you said
that's
that they
that's
told
gotta
you they're going to build a hospital
Yep,
with their money.
yep. That's what. I don't think you can see the guy in this picture. If you go to so this guy next to Brian. So he was kind of who I would say is probably, the mayor, the governor of that little province they were in, and everyone came to the village. Man, they just flocked in there. I don't even know where. It was crazy how quick the word got out. You know what I mean? That it was a Markhor down, and everyone came into the village, and
So
some of the
for
different
those-
This
government
they're
people.
this dude has a North Face jacket on.
That was one of Donish's guys that came everywhere with us. So he was one of the Indus Safari guys. So the guy to the left of him, Shaw does a lot of the ibex and blue sheep hunts,
Yeah.
which way up. Man, he had some cool stories on blue sheep.
Really?
And then he's obviously involved. Speaks good English,
Mhm.
educated. Easy to communicate with. Donish organized it all, and Donish is from Pakistan, and he's actually.
I've seen him on the videos.
Yeah. Super good dude. So there were a few people there that are on his close-knit team, and then all these other people were from the village.
Yeah. Very cool. So,
Yeah, it's just a side of it that I'm just trying to tell the story, some cool
Well, I
there's
think
some
a lot of
some
people-
cool things happened. There's no way.
first of all,
I
you
never
could-
knew about any of
Look-
this
I
stuff.
mean, look at these cliffs, man. That's just got to be so daunting. And here you guys are up there just hunting these animals. And from the outside looking in, people have to wonder why someone pays $200,000 to go hunt that animal. And to that, I'm like, Well, who cares why? Look at what it does. Look at what it does for the animal and for the future. We can discuss why down the road.
And that's where I think just so much of the focus goes, where, I don't know, like you were just saying, I don't think it needs to go there. I mean, why don't we look at the chain reaction that happens because it went there? You know what I mean? And the good that comes from it, and the people that are benefited, the wildlife that's benefited, and the communities that are benefited, and the economics for...
Yeah. What are these people like? I mean...
Super nice people.
Are they? I mean, this dude looks like he might shank you. That guy looks hard. Hard as nails. Look at his hands.
I'm digging his hat, though.
Oh, yeah. But, dude, that guy looks tough.
I mean,
are they
tough?
Like
he just, like, snapped
Are they tough people?
His hunting layering system is 5 layers of leather jackets. Look at him.
I mean,
look at him.
He looks tough. And what is that hat supposed to be?
It's
Is that from, like, that's Mongolia.
Man, look at that beard. Have you ever seen a thicker beard?
I'm telling you, they got to be tough as nails. These people. Just not infected by the cold.
I'm going, oh, my custom boots and insoles are feeling pretty good today. And I look over and he cut off the tires of his motorcycle and made sandals out of it and is rock climbing down the mountain with an ibex on his back. And I was just like...
You're feeling like inadequate as a man.
I was like, no pictures of me. Let's photograph the real hero here.
Look at the hooves on that thing. Look at that. Like they're
just so
worn down.
Pliable. You know what I mean? Those things just grip those rocks. Like when you get touching them, it's like, man, these things are just like glue up here, which they have to be.
This photo freaks me out.
Okay. So the ibex was originally, man, I wish I had one even farther zoomed out than this. I want to say it was up even more terraces than that. Like the ibex was up above the TV screen.
Yeah.
This is, I would say, they're like halfway down.
It gets steeper, it looks like, higher up.
Yeah.
But still, you have these spots that just look sketchy. So they handed the ibex down from one guy to the next guy to the next guy, all the way to the bottom.
All the way to the bottom. And so those terraces you're seeing in the last picture,
yeah,
this is how steep they are when you look at them up close. Like from the perspective I was taking at, everything just looks flat. You know what I mean? On that.
Dude, that's straight down. That's like a...
Oh, yeah. So that guy, yeah, he just handed it down to here, and the ibex, like...
So this
flops
guy
down, and he's hanging on to it, not letting it take him off the ledge, and then he's got it. All right, you climb down to this. Put your foot on my shoulder. He climbs down to that ledge. The other guy goes down, and I'm just
using human ladders.
Oh my gosh, is this happening right now? It's incredible.
Yeah, look at that. Pakistan.
Everywhere I've been, everyone seems just genuinely grateful to have us in their country. In Africa, in Mongolia, in Pakistan, in Turkey. You know what I mean?
Who's that hot babe?
That's my wife. I'll keep going and I'll show you another
just got to sprinkle
cool picture.
A little bit of the wife in there.
Ooh, 3-legged leopard. That's kind of wild. I didn't even notice that until I was going through the trail cam pictures, and I was like, what? It's missing a leg from a snare. All right. Look at that awesomeness.
Yeah, so I kind of hate your wife because she shot a sheep.
She drew every single tag she applied for in Utah last year.
What?
Dedicated hunter, limited entry mountain lion, once in a lifetime bighorn.
I've never drawn for anything I put in. If I put in, I just look at it as I'm donating money to the state.
But when I see something like that, it gives me hope that someday maybe, right?
And that's what I say to everyone. People are going to be pissed when I say this. She had 1 point. It takes about 19 to draw that tag, but there's always a chance.
There is.
Every year, a percentage of those people are going to get lucky, and she was part of the 3%.
That looks like a huge ram.
It's a really nice ram.
What were you thinking when you saw she drew it?
Well, I was in Alaska on the peninsula looking for bears, and she texted me, and the way she worded the text, I knew she was typing off a name. I was like, there's no way you would know where that is. You know what I mean? Like the unit.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's not punking me. And so the first thing I did was text my buddy who does our applications.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this real? And he's like, you guys are the luckiest family I know. He's like, she drew a sheep tag. She's like, I can't believe it. On the Newfies, California bighorn sheep.
What do you think about like bighorn sheep, hunting and sheep?
I mean,
You've never hunted them yourself.
No, I think I filmed probably close to 15 sheep hunts.
Yeah. How is that compared to like, your ibex and Markhor and things like that?
Man, sheep are awesome. Sheep just kind of have like this ambiance around them. Like when you're on a sheep hunt, like everyone knows like this is a very special occasion. You know what I mean? Like this isn't an experience that many people are ever going to get a experience. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, there's almost just kind of like a different mood to the hunt. Like it's a really like you got invited on a very special, occasion and experience in this person's life, and you're getting to do something that very few people will ever get to do. And so because of that, it's awesome. And combined with sheep usually live in the prettiest places in the world. You know what I mean? Way back, remote, in the mountains. You're usually hunting them in August and September, which the weather can be horrible, but it also can just be green and beautiful. And everything kind of about a sheep hunt, like it's just setting it up for awesomeness or complete heartbreak, one of the two. But so it's a really cool thing. But then at the same time, it's such a rare occasion that it's when people are like, what do you want to do? I want to be a sheep hunter. That's not that easy.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely strive your whole life to put yourself in an opportunity where you can experience that, because it is awesome. You know what I mean? But it's hard to, if you ask me like, oh, you can only hunt one animal the rest of your life. Well, I can't really say sheep because
you'd only go on one hunt.
I gotta be or I gotta be a billionaire. But there are opportunities. I'm not trying to deter people. Look at my wife.
Yeah,
she's got a bighorn sheep.
Right, but that's what makes it. Is what makes it special, though. Right?
Yeah.
Is the rarity of the opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. It's awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if you asked me, you can go on one hunt in the world, what it would be? It would probably be some sort of sheep hunt. I mean, I was telling you, like, I really want to get on a blue sheep hunt. Still a sheep, you know what I mean? It's different, but it's just the adventure of it.
It's hard, though, to justify the cost.
Yeah.
Because
I know.
Because it's sort of weird. Like, we as human beings are weird. Because you can go to New Zealand and just straight up fly there and go out and hunt tahr in epic country and have a similar experience to hunting sheep.
You could have a sheep experience
for $3,000 versus 50.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that's a lot of tahr hunts or a lot of
that's true.
Similar
and
experiences.
And that's one of the appeal to these goat hunts, because goat hunting starts where sheep hunting ends. The goat hunts are definitely more extreme than the sheep hunts, in my opinion. These ibex hunts.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, they're a third to a fourth of the cost. So, if you're looking to do a super extreme hunt, ibex hunting is probably my favorite kind of mountain hunting. You know what I mean? If you were like, all right, I want to go on an awesome backpacking, extreme mountain hunt with some mountaineering involved and crazy shot angles, and I would say you need to go on an ibex hunt.
Yeah.
They're awesome. And there's lots of opportunities for those all over the world.
That are affordable.
Yeah.
That can be done. Yeah, we've been talking about going to one of the stands. Or
you have.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's been brought up many times.
What's a good beginner stand?
Or we can go to
Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan? That look in your eye tells me there's not good. That's not okay.
I haven't been there, but
no, I've
sounds nice.
It's like so. No,
most of my friends
it doesn't really.
I'm over the stand.
There's ibex in Spain or
No.
in one of the stands. I choose Spain myself. Price is like, Jason's like, hey, we're going to get you booked for like Mongolia. Let's make this happen.
It's not a stand.
You've got a point.
Mongolia's awesome.
Isn't that where your prop plane almost crashed?
You can drive. No, you only. No, you can't drive to that one. You could do Gobi just driving. Gobi ibex.
Oh, okay.
So there's a way around it.
Yeah. You'll probably die on the car ride as well. Like, I don't know if that's any safer.
The car ride's probably less safe than flying.
Yeah, it's
Spain is going to be your speaking from a lot of experience, talking to a lot of people who have done it. Yeah, I don't think there's any risk in hunting ibex in Spain. And there's four.
It's not necessarily the hunting or the travel that scares me. It's I can go hunting in Spain, and the chances of me losing my head is 0. When I go to any of the stands, it exponentially rises.
Probably.
So what about
Spain is going to be probably.
the more we talk, the more I lean toward Texas. Everything's in Texas.
Spain will be the least extreme ibex hunt.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to put it that way.
Yeah,
But if you go to Spain, you have to take your wife. It's mandatory.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'd like that.
I know a lot of people that go there, and the ibex are in 4 different. There's the now I'm going to mind blank. There's the Ronda and the Bassetti and the Gritos, and they're all over. They're in different parts of Spain. So yeah, each of them are like 3-day hunts. You go on like a 3-day hunt for one of the species in one part, and then you road trip and sightsee to the next area of Spain. And I've heard it's just like an awesome trip. Most guys do it in 2 trips. So they'll like do 2 ibex on one trip, just so it's not, because if you wanted to do all 4, which this wouldn't be a bad thing, but you probably want to stay for like 15. You know what I mean? To have ample time, it would just be a long trip.
I'm going to do some more tar because it's so accessible and so doable. I'm going to do...
One thing I'm doing this year, which is a new thing I haven't done before, I'm going to Russia tur hunting, which tur are like an ibex mixed with a tar. Have you ever seen a tur?
Well, I watched Adam Yankee's film with Comment.
Who?
With
Have you seen Pedro's?
with Matt Comment.
World-
No, it wasn't those guys. Those guys shot ibex. I was talking about. Yeah, I watched Pedro's film.
World
KU
record.
Europe world record
Oh, my
with a
goodness.
bow. Yeah,
Pretty crazy. Azerbaijan.
is that where he was?
There's 3 tur.
That was a cool looking animal.
Yep, there's one. Azerbaijan is, to me, it's one of the coolest looking goats. I mean, just
People who haven't seen that
super-
video that are into this kind of, mountain hunt and with a bow, it's a little hard to watch though. When he takes that tumble off that cliff. I was saying this the other day.
Yeah.
Whenever a sheep or a goat or animal gets shot and they're up in some cliffs, and not only do you see them get hit by the weapon, the arrow, the bullet, whatever, and take the shock from it, but a lot of times you see a nasty spill that follows, and it's just painful to watch.
Yeah, that was a good 30-foot head diver.
Head plant, like,
Yeah.
and I don't think
I just watched it.
And
Yeah,
he
the
wasn't
other day.
dead yet. He was
Yeah.
in the process.
Props to Pedro. He's
Oh, Pedro's been on the podcast. He's awesome.
he was in
I love
Pedro. And when I was in Mongolia, 8-hour flight from the middle of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
Pedro rolls up to the yurt.
Really?
They're like a hunter's coming in.
Can you say that sentence for me one more time? Pedro rolls up to the yurt.
Pedro rolls up to the yurt, and I walk outside, and Pedro's like, "Oh, what's up, Dallas? Just a normal place to run into you for the first time."
Like you ran into him at Smith's or something.
Yeah. Oh, there's my wife's ram.
Dude.
Watch this.
Man.
400 yards.
Ooh, he is gigantic.
Went about.
Look at that body.
That's a big boy.
Wow.
Yeah, just awesome. And so I'm coming home from Tanzania, land in Amsterdam, flight gets canceled. Tori's hunt starts the next morning. They're telling me I can't get out for 3 days. Find a flight to Canada, fly from Amsterdam to Canada, get on another flight, land in Salt Lake at midnight. Tori loads the truck up, is pulling the Razor, picks me up at 12:31 in the morning at Salt Lake City Airport, throw all my stuff in the car, drive to her sheep unit, get to the sheep unit at probably 3 in the morning. She goes to bed. I get everything organized, get up at 6, and we shot her ram on opening day.
Jeez.
It was a whirlwind.
Tell me how you're filming nowadays. What kit are you bringing with you?
Okay. So all my stuff, all these trips are photo and video trips. I'm doing both the whole time. And so sole equipment for one or the other doesn't really work for me. I need something that does both things awesome. So I'm shooting on Sony A7R3. Awesome photos.
Good video.
Awesome video.
Is that what I should go to next? I have an A7S II and an A6300.
Yes, this camera's awesome. I have been waiting for Sony to drop their new camera for 2 years now, and it's getting extremely frustrating because Panasonic is bringing on the heat with some awesome stuff.
Yep.
But you get stuck when you get so much money in lenses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you got like $7,000 in lenses.
That's where I'm at.
It's like, oh, well, I guess I'll just keep waiting because I don't really want to sell all these.
So, but the A7R3 is going to be the camera that can do it all.
Yeah,
because right now the 6300 is a crop sensor, which is okay. It's not as good as my A7S II, but my A7S II takes crummy photos compared to the 63.
So the R3, it's a full frame. It shoots like 48 megapixel photos, which are as big as you ever need.
It doesn't overheat.
Doesn't overheat.
Does it have the new battery, or is it still
new battery?
Yeah, that
which is
battery
awesome.
Sucks.
And video, it does 4K 30 and it does 1080 and 120.
How's the new battery? How does that work compared to the old?
Twice as good as the old battery.
Okay.
Yeah, it's big.
How does it handle the cold? Still a problem?
Do you want to know something interesting? I think I go to some pretty cold places. I mean, Tajikistan in the middle of the winter. The only time I have ever had camera cold problems was while hunting with you in Montana. I'm dead serious.
Really?
Like I've never. Yeah, my camera batteries were seriously struggling, and I was using the old batteries, which maybe the new batteries have
That's
helped.
what I'm asking. Is the old batteries, they just suck dry.
They were worthless.
If I tape a hot hand, I have to bring hot hands with me, and I tape them to the outside of the battery compartment. They'll last all day.
Yeah,
they'll last even longer than they normally last. But if there's a little chill in there, maybe if it gets below freezing at all, and that battery's just in there, and I'm talking Sony brand ones, they'll be decent. They'll still run dead. But if you use like a Wasabi or a knockoff, they're done.
Yeah. So the new batteries are twice as good, in my opinion.
So you've got the R3. What else?
Yep. So I'm filming on the two R3s, and then I've got a 100 to 400 with a doubler.
G series.
Yep. You showed me that lens when we were hunting. I love that lens, and I love the doubler. A lot of people have told me they're like, "Don't get a doubler," and I don't think any.
You have the 1.4 or the 2X.
The 2.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people honestly use it. I think there's just this stereotype about doublers where it's going to double your f-stop and you're going to lose all your quality and don't use it. Lies. I love that thing. I had it in Pakistan, and that photo I took of that Markhor.
Yeah.
That was 300 or 400 yards away, and I am sucked right in. The quality, I can blow that thing up.
How far were you?
Probably 350 to 400.
Really? Let's look at that photo real quick.
This is at 800 millimeters. Yeah. So that's at 800 millimeters with a doubler.
At what distance?
At probably 400 yards.
Dang. Yeah. Dang.
Dude, it's sharp. No one can. I mean, obviously, the resolution's probably been degraded a little bit by posting it, but dude, it's a sharp image. You can even tell from there. I mean, zoom in a little more, and we could probably count the age rings on that Markhor. So
yeah, and
super pumped.
You prefer that to your iPhone or your phone on a.
I have control over it.
Okay,
you know what I mean with my camera.
When you're looking through a spotting scope, not as much.
I love the phone scope, and the phone scope for quickness and when lighting situations are good, I would put it up against, many of the big lenses. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When just after sunrise, when you've got good lighting, but it's when lighting is bad and you need to manipulate it. Yeah. That's when it's really handy. And just for, for rifle shots, you know what I mean? I just have more control over that camera than trying to move a super zoomed in spotting scope.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got the doubler on the 1-400.
Yep. And then I've got currently G Master 24-70 2.8 and a 16-35 2.8. Those three lenses, in my opinion, will do just about everything. You got your wide angle, you got your normal, portrait lens.
I got rid of
you got your telephoto.
I got rid of my 70-200 because I was mostly filming. I think it would be nice for photography, but I just didn't see.
I'm about to get rid of mine, maybe this week. And Dustin just got that, which I think you have it, the 24 or 28 to 135 with the power zoom. I want it.
Yeah.
The zoom would be nice, and I could even put my doubler on it and film bow hunts with it. I mean, a 135 double, that's going to be more than a 200, I think I could lose a lens, and with that and the wide angle, you know what I mean, on some of these bow hunts. Yeah. I could get away with it.
It's hard to decide what to bring, but
I usually just bring it all.
Yeah, that's when it comes to weight, I haven't decided how to backpack. Yep. I've been backpacking with just a 6300 with a Batis 2.8 Zeiss fixed 18 millimeter lens.
Yep.
For vlogging and talking to the camera and landscape, and then just been using the spotting scope with the phone. Legit backpacking where I just want to keep the load light.
Yeah,
it's the best I can do. It's hard to.
That'd be nice
if I'm going to bring a 1-4 and a spotting scope, and it just starts. You got to balance the actual ability to hunt with the filming, and you get into some gnarly country for 10 days or 14 days of backpacking, hunting, and that's tough.
Super tough. And I just upgraded my drone, and I got the Mavic 2 Pro with the 1-inch sensor, Hasselblad camera. Super sweet.
Really?
That image looks like my Sony images. You know what I mean? It matches it. It's gathering more light. The colors are sharp. It just has a better lens. You know what I mean?
I need to get a drone.
Yeah.
Haven't got around to that.
Mavic 2 Pro. Big fan.
Gotcha.
Super, super crisp, sharp image. So
on these hunts you've been on, what was the most dangerous animal encounter you've had? The closest call? Because you've been to Africa. You've been,
Oh, we need to talk about this. All right, we're going to talk. That was the most dangerous.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say probably the
keep scrolling down, and I'll show you a still frame that.
The one where it's staring at you straight ahead. Dude, that bear looked like it was going to eat you guys.
Yeah, that was a problem. And the bigger problem is who runs into it next. Because the way we handled the problem was by just backing off. So we were on the beach, and this bear was kind of feeding towards us. We thought it was maybe bigger than it was. Turns off it was just a sow. And
no freaking way.
And
you're in the water in Africa? Yeah, you see my comment right there? Oh, hell no.
Go out of this one. Click on that one.
Yeah. No, that's a dinosaur.
That's a 16.5-foot croc.
Why would you get in the water, Dallas?
I wasn't in that water. After, when they pulled that croc out, I was honestly horrified. I was horrified.
So hold on, you went for the dip, and then the alligator came later?
No, that was in a small creek far away. Not that crocodiles can't walk. I mean, it's 100 years old. You could walk a long ways in 100 years. But this was something I can't put into words. Its head is as tall as me. Hundreds of teeth, It's 16 and a half feet long, Brian. And this thing, once they get over 14 feet, they say they get a foot wider for every foot they get longer.
Jeez.
This thing.
How old was that?
Brian,
they said 100 years old?
Brian, this thing is as wide as this table. This, not.
And as long as
this ways.
It could swallow you.
And as
whole.
long as this room?
Longer. Its head is out in the hallway. And it's this wide, as wide as this table. Brian, it is horrifying. Horrifying. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're dead.
There's not even, don't even fight it. Just say, make it quick, please. Spin fast.
Did you guys eat it?
No, I didn't eat any of the crocodile.
Was this hunted because it was killing people, or what's the story on this?
It for sure killed people. I don't know. In 100 years, has it killed someone? I'm sure. There's poachers and people swimming across that river, and
just helping
there used to be a lot of cattle in there, but thankfully they got all the cattle people out because they'd moved the hunting concession out, which when they move it out, then there's no anti-poaching or anything done. And so all the people from the village, like 30 miles away, started pushing their cattle in here because it's around the lake and it's awesome. Mm-hmm. But the thing with the cattle is cattle are easy. So the lions and leopards and everything just start picking off the cattle. And the first thing, once the cattle start getting picked off, they just throw some poison in there, and then the lion comes and eats some of the poison, and then they don't have a lion problem. But the problem is also then the hyenas come and eat the cow, and then the vultures come down and
you can't pick who eats the poison.
It all gets poisoned. So the cattle are gone. But there used to be a bunch of cattle and people in this area. So
okay, so were we talking about the bear when I interrupted?
Yeah. So keep going down. Let's see if we can find this picture.
I watched the video. Should I just go to the video? Right?
Oh.
What is it? Did you two do this?
What?
This lion video?
Oh, click this.
See, I could spend all day on your page here.
This is just a little snippet.
I love that there's always shorts.
Is this thing in a cage?
No.
This is just wild. Are you flying a drone over there?
Yeah, after we left. I flew my drone over there.
After you were a good distance away.
Yeah. Well, look at this, dude. This lion fights off the crocs that are coming in. Man, just look at that. Just because he's bald, he looks even scarier. He's going into the river, fighting the crocs off. The crocs would creep in, and then he'd run out in the water and swat at them. And look at all the crocs.
Is he just hanging out there because it's cool?
There's dead animal there.
There's a dead...
Oh.
There's a piece of meat. But yeah, I mean, look how pretty that place is. But yeah, that river is infested with crocs. Super. So talking about dangerous situations.
Mm-hmm.
As you could see, we had started building a blind there, but didn't get finished with it. There were some little, like
at the
when
end
we first started walking in, there were sticks.
That.
But one of the trackers had come and he said, "Hey, there's a lion on this bait. Do you want to go? Do you want to go look? I think it's a young male." And so we snuck in there, and so you could see that lion was pretty defensive about that meat. Like he was guarding that meat. So we snuck into 35 yards. And so,
not my thing.
I was just chilling 35 yards filming it. That was intense.
That could get you.
Yeah, it could definitely.
That's a sick shot right there.
Oh man, that female was ancient.
Dude, tar are just awesome.
See, there's my tar experience. Oh, so close. Ryan, I gotta go back. Look how close I look. People are. I was probably only 20.
I told you I'm going back, didn't I? I'll have to tell you about my plans. Have you seen this, Brent?
I have not.
Yeah, this is just a little 15 yards. Oh,
did you miss?
Nope, they blew out. I didn't get a shot.
That's right.
I didn't get a shot off.
You snuck up on the
Yeah,
tar.
I drew back.
Oh, jeez.
This bull.
Yep. And then the females
did their thing.
Yeah.
So much fun, though.
Heartbreaking. So, back to the bear. So this Alaskan Peninsula brown bear encounter. This thing is unreal.
This was an intense situation.
This video, people should go check it out. Have you seen it, Brent?
I have not.
So that bear looks a little bit angry. For those that are listening,
Ooh.
did you just shoot the ground by it?
Yeah, the outfitter just shot the ground. It's like 5 feet to the left.
How far away is this bear right now?
8 yards.
Just shot it again. 8 yards?
Maybe 10 yards.
Why is that bear not skedaddling?
So were you a little nervous?
Yeah. So right here. Yeah. So
Oh, dude, he comes back.
maybe 10 yards.
He's trying to figure out which one of you is going to be the easiest.
You can see.
Oh, dude. Look at that thing.
Not even phased.
You're not hunting
One.
bears?
Oh, we're hunting bears, but not.
Is that a sow?
Yeah, it's a sow. We're not hunting sows. Yeah. This bear.
So you're backing up? Dude, that's so intense.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. More does that look inquisitive to you, Brent?
It just lays down. And so we back off, which the bear won.
Yeah.
Now the bear is not scared of humans. It's like, oh, I just have to intimidate him. And that sow is going to be it's going to be a big problem for someone someday.
Yeah.
And Bob was saying that he's like, that's a big problem, but he's like, there's nothing else we can do. He said we can shoot and try and scare it off, but he's like,
that's crazy, dude.
yeah. So I mean, probably around that 10-yard mark was the barrier that it just stayed right there close into.
So freaking close. It didn't look scared at all, dude.
No,
not at all.
The gunshots didn't even phase it. It was just like, what are these?
Is this buffalo in New Zealand?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Buffalo are cool. I'd like to go on a buffalo hunt someday.
Me too. I'd like to do one in the West.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be a cool hunt. Well, so you think that bear was probably the sketchiest encounter you've had with an animal so far in the wild?
Yeah, I've been pretty lucky with animal encounters. I've had some cool, but I mean, I've never had, a lion charge, a buffalo charge, an elephant.
No Black Death?
No.
Cape
no,
buffalo?
nothing's, I mean, we've definitely tracked quite a few wounded buffalo, which, yeah.
That's unnerving.
That's eerie. But no wounded lions, wounded leopards, nothing. No, my near-death experiences.
Wow.
Come from other aspects of hunting. And travel. Travel is the most dangerous part.
Well,
it's not the people, it's not the places.
You have
not the animals.
You have a great Instagram page. I love following this. Dallas Hemeyer, DALLASHEMEYER. And your Instagram stories are sweet because and there's a lot of those. You can go to Dallas's page and on Instagram, and then you can check those out where he goes over different Mongolia, Utah bear, New Zealand bow hunt, the ram, little shorts, and then people can find your YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's usually the link at the top of the page
on your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
For those that don't have Instagram,
I'm on Facebook too.
Mm-hmm.
Not as active, but most of the content all makes it onto the Facebook page as well. And then all these films that we've been talking about are on the Experience YouTube channel. All these past films.
Yep. You get a lot of cool videos on the YouTube channel, The Experience.
Thank you, buddy.
So, folks, check it out. Here you have Dallas, the legend, Hemeyer, talented world traveler, photographer, and film guy.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's been...
Hopefully we can get on a hunt here again.
We need to.
It's been a little while.
It has been
I hope
a while.
you can make Colorado.
Need to look at some dates and
because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So we've been in here for a couple hours. People don't know that. We have not once mentioned your mustache. Not once. And that is...
I don't think Brian's ever made a comment about it.
And that is...
Which is
that
rare.
is a stab.
Yeah, I typically insult the way people look on a regular basis.
It's been in the beard for a long time.
Yeah.
Just kind of the last 6 months. It was when I went to Africa. I was like, switch it up.
It's very 70s, I'd say. Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
Very,
He looks very
world
Southern to me.
traveler.
Southern. Like, I could see you as like a general. Little Southern general.
Yeah, if you made it a little bit longer.
Okay.
Now,
there was a point when it was long,
curling
and
a
I
little
could
bit.
wax it. Man, it was a pain. Like,
See-
it just wasn't. It wasn't worth the effort.
Yeah.
And then there was at a
kind
part
of
of the day one would be going drooping. Yeah, I'm like, this is.
So I don't know why, but mustaches always kind of trigger in my mind, like pedophile. I don't know why. Just that's the image I have.
Here's the deal. Not everyone that has a mustache is a pedophile, but every pedophile has a mustache.
There's Brent's logic.
There we go. It's been laid out on the gritty.
No, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Everything looks better though with muscles. So you're looking real lean right now.
I am.
You're running lots of miles.
I am leaned out, but I think it's time to transition back into some lifting.
Yeah.
Now that I've lost the excess unneeded body fat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get a little more toned. That should be this year's goal. Last year, made a big push. It was good. I feel really good.
Yeah.
I lost all that unnecessary weight that I was packing around, which I pack enough camera gear around. I don't need that extra. I don't need that extra Tamron 1 to 5, 600. That was no fun.
That's awesome.
That's good though.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Well, folks, thanks for tuning in to the Gritty Podcast. Check out Dallas's page. Give him a follow. Leave us some comments on the YouTube video. You can always access those through briancall.com on our podcast link. And as always, stay gritty.